Yes, so I did not get paid for Bachelorette. And that was a tricky time too, because Bachelorette, you take a leave of absence from work, you're not getting paid for the time that you're spending on the show. You still have your bills to pay when you're back home. And I got super lucky because my roommates at the time, when I left, even though I thought I was going to be gone for like a couple days, a week tops, they started Airbnb my room out right away. So I didn't have to pay rent, fortunately, while I was gone. And then I got back from the show and I was like struggling for cash, wasn't sure what I was going to do, go back to work. But like obviously paychecks don't come right away. And then they hit me up and they're like, hey, do you want to do Bachelor in Paradise, this other show? It pays $400 a day. You could be there for up to like 30 days, something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, great. $400 a day, 30 days, $12,000. Okay. That's fantastic. And then I start talking to some friends and they're like, well, you should get more money because you're kind of like the guy coming off the show. You're going to be like the most, you're who they want most from your season to go to Paradise, minus like Peter, obviously. And I was like, okay, cool. Pay me $800 a day. And they were like, no, dude, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not gonna pay you that much. We'll pay you $600. And I'm so certain, like at that point, I was like out of principle. I just had wanted them to pay, could have been $1 more, but out of principle, I wanted them to pay me more than they were offering everybody else just because I thought I was hot shit for some reason. So they paid me $600 a day for 30 days. And I've heard other people, I can't remember who it was, but I've heard people getting upwards of like $1,000 a day for Paradise. But at the time, like I said, I was struggling for cash because I took 2 months off of work, didn't see a single dollar for those 2 months. So $600 a day for 30 days, 18 grand. Like I'm seeing that and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I would have done this for, $100 a day kind of thing.
For sure.
Go on that show. And in my experience, at least, most of the money that comes from going on any type of reality TV show is from the endorsements that follow afterwards.
For sure.
So we filmed Paradise and then I get a call. I left Paradise single. Obviously, that whole season was pretty complicated for me. But I got a call. I was like doing some event in Canada, and the producers were like, "Hey, we want you to be the Bachelor for us next year. Do you want to do it?" In the back of my head, I was like, "No, I don't want to do it. Like, I just went through the worst season of my life. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to get like married anytime soon, anything like that."
Right.
But I was like, "Well, it's too big of an opportunity to pass up." So I said yes, and I think that they offer it to a couple of people every single year. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Send the contract over. So they sent the contract over. It was for, I think it was like 75 grand to be the Bachelor for the season. And I'm sure you probably got something similar to that, right? Not the price, but at least like.
So ours was 100. So mine was 100.
Nice.
And then what they did is they gave 3 contracts and we were all buddies. So we just compared them. So me, Colton, and Blake each had contracts for 100.
I talked to a couple other former Bachelors and Bachelorettes. And I was like, hey, like, just so you guys know, like I'm being considered for this opportunity. Just so I can like kind of price myself into it. What were you guys paid for your cooperation and all that kind of stuff? And 100 seems pretty good. I was pretty happy with 75. And again, like you just said, like anything would have like the money doesn't come from that contract. The money comes from after the fact. So I said yes to it. And obviously they ended up, I think they went with Ari that year instead, which like forever grateful. Obviously it's kind of led me down this path that I am now with Kaylin. So. And then those other shows were like, I kind of like just stopped caring because I was like, what's the difference between $1,000 to $2,000 per show? If again, like I'm not going for the big paycheck that comes from it. So I kind of stopped caring to negotiate so much until the last Bachelor in Paradise season I went on. I was like, yeah, guys, like I'll do it, but you got to pay me like $20,000 an episode or a day or something, like some absurd amount. Like when I said it too, I was like so vindicated. I was like, they're not going to get me for $1 less than what I need right now. And then eventually as time wore on, I was like, you know what, screw it. I think I went down for like $602 a day or something like that. Okay.
So similar to Paradise round 1.
Yeah. Okay. And dude, those shows are crazy because it's like, there's so many contestants to pull from that like your presence doesn't really matter to them that much. You know?
For Winter Games though, and if you said it, I apologize, but what did it look like for Winter Games?
It was very, very similar. It was like $400 a day.
400.
But that one filmed over a much less shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
Winter Games was like the one thing where it was like we were just doing it because it was like interesting and fun and for the first time ever they had done it. But that one was like the ratings were horrible for it. The pay was bad. The setting wasn't that great. We were like in Vermont and it had snowed and so long. And so it was just like one of those things where it was like, why are we all here? Like this is kind of just a waste of